A guy taking a leak suddenly turns into a human fountain, getting it all over the bathroom. His friend, who got sprayed all over, thought he was just showing off. Then, the guy who just peed out a liter of liquid suddenly just lay down flat in the stall. His friend told him he couldn't sleep there. But as he got closer for a better look, the boy had already become a dead man, his eyes gouged out. A warm, yellow liquid trickled down. From the cracks in the ground, 3 Chinese characters slowly pieced themselves together. The cursed girl. Looking for some late-night thrills? Looking for the night shift? All you horror veterans, hop on. There's no time to explain. The star of our story today is the Huahua girl. She specifically targets the men she falls for. But no one has ever seen what the Huahua girl looks like. Legend has it that she'll lean in close to the ear of the person she's obsessed with and whisper, "I like you so much." But if the guy she confesses to says no, she will immediately gouge out his eyes. Dead beyond dead. The guy she's set her sights on this time is named Ahong. He's the heartthrob of the university's sculpture department. Nanako had a crush on Ahong. She even made a special trip to see Hiroshi's art exhibition, but Hiroshi wasn't interested in Nanako at all, because he's into the fair-skinned, beautiful type, and the blonde, long-legged Mochizuki. Okay, scratch beautiful from that description. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Hiroshi even made a life-size sculpture of her, and named it the Beautiful Woman.
これ私?
Is this me? What a creep. Mochizuki stormed off in anger. This left Ahong feeling completely dejected. He's completely engrossed in his phone. If you look closely at the reflection in the glass right now, you'll notice there's another figure. As the floor numbers keep flashing by, the elevator's steel doors slide open. Hiroto shuddered in fear. The landlord, lurking outside the door like a ghost, said someone downstairs had filed a complaint. Strange noises were always coming from Ahong's room. Steam filled the bathroom as he showered. A line of text had inexplicably appeared on the mirror. "I see you." But Ahong didn't think much of it. After her bath, she decided to whip up some dinner. But as he chewed on, he realized something was off with the taste. There was something extra in the food. Inside was a clump of hair. Of course it didn't taste right. Disgusted, Ahong collapsed, vomiting and having diarrhea. Suddenly, a rhythmic knocking sound came from outside the door. Who the hell is playing the drums in the middle of the night? Ahong peeked through the peephole to see. Those big, doll-like eyes nearly made his heart stop. Then, the doorknob started shaking like crazy. The security door was rattling on its hinges. It feels like at any second, that thing is going to burst right through the door. But that's the thing with horror movies, it's all about the contrast. So, what do you think is going to happen? But of course, it doesn't. When Ahong once again peered into the peephole, the hallway outside was completely empty. Not a soul in sight. The phone starts to ring. Mochizuki went out of his way to apologize to Ahong. And said she actually really liked that statue. "I was just a little shy with everyone watching." He overreacted. Hiro was so caught up in the conversation, completely oblivious to the pale hand reaching out from under the bed. Welp. The next day, the lovebirds showed up at the amusement park, right on schedule. At first, they were having a great time. But just then, out of the corner of his eye, Ahong caught a glimpse of a fleeting pink figure. "What? You saw Jane Zhang?" No. It must have just been my imagination." Then, Ahong tried to act calm. But he couldn't shake the feeling that the hairs on the back of his neck were standing up, a chill running down his spine. Seeing her lover in such a daze, Mochizuki grew concerned. So she suggested they head back to the university art gallery. "Let's take a proper look at the statue." So, the two of them entered the exhibition hall. All they saw was plaster dust covering the floor, and the sculpture, well, it was now more open-hearted than ever. It was completely and senselessly destroyed. As the lights began to flicker, Hiro turned his head to look. He saw a familiar shade of pink. "Hong, what's wrong with you?" "It's definitely that thing." "That thing? I'm with a kid. I gotta say, this guy Ahong is a real piece of work." Leaving Mochizuki collapsed on the ground. He just bolted straight into the dark hallway. The deathly silence suddenly made him realize the truth. But it was too late to be afraid. A pair of slender, delicate hands wrapped around his body. As the saying goes, you had a path to heaven but chose the road to hell. And you just had to barge into hell. In a panic, Ahong scrambled into the classroom. He actually tried to grab a box cutter to fight the inevitable. "Who do you think you are, some kind of hero?" The cursed girl was done hiding. And there she was, right in front of him. As if he were a helpless little chick. Effortlessly lifting Ahong into the air. Then, she asked the question that would haunt his soul. "I love you." "No. I can't." Heartbroken after being brutally rejected, the Jinx girl was shattered. "Open your damn eyes and take a good look. I'm the one who's meant for you." A few minutes later, Mochizuki arrived. On the ground, there was only Ah Hong, lying there with empty eye sockets. All that was left was Ah Hong, lying there with empty eye sockets. But there was no sign of the cursed girl. But what really happened to Ah Hong? And there was another witness. And that person was none other than the infatuated Nanako. That night. As it happened, Nanako was also at the art museum. She arrived at the classroom just a step ahead of Mochizuki. She witnessed with her own eyes as Hiroshi was taken over by a mysterious force. And levitated into the air. Tears streaming down her face, Nanako made a vow. And find out the truth behind Ah Hong's death. In the library's archives, she found an old news clipping. It reported that 10 years ago, a high school sophomore named Takuya also died after his eyes were gouged out. Plus, according to speculation from the gossip rags back then. And sure enough, it was the cursed girl who killed Takuji. So, Nanako made her way to the Majiaten Cafe. She asked the waiter, Inoyama, for the details. This Inoyama guy used to be Takuya's classmate. He was also the first one to discover Takuya's body. He stated with absolute certainty. The hag is Sayuri. Sayuri was a slightly chubby girl in their class. Takuya was great at soccer. And knew just how to act cool. He had Sayuri completely spellbound. But Sayuri, being shy and introverted, didn't have the guts to confess to him in person. So, she secretly slipped the love letter into Takuya's locker. But this heavy declaration of love was soon exposed to the entire school. She was met with merciless ridicule. A few nosy boys told her to take a good look in the mirror. Lose some weight, then get plastic surgery. Just then, Takuya appeared in the classroom doorway. He walked gently towards Sayuri. You don't need plastic surgery. For just a moment. Sakura thought Takuya was an angel. But in the end. He said, it'd be better if you just died. Turns out, Takuya was a demon. And Takuya was a demon. With nothing left to live for, Sayuri stood on the rooftop, hesitating for a long, long time. And took the leap. She almost landed right on a group of kids. Even if she hadn't nearly hit those kids. But Sayuri's fall, which damaged the flowers and plants, didn't garner any sympathy. Everyone thought it was a good thing that Sayuri was dead. This just goes to show how severe bullying in Japanese schools can be. A week later, Takuya went berserk in class. He was just begging for mercy to the empty air. He even crawled into a storage cabinet. Then, Takuya just bolted out of the classroom. As if he was running from something trying to kill him. Eventually, they found Takuya in a rice paddy, his eyes staring blankly into the rippling waves of wheat-colored water. I'm so sold on this. After hearing this story from Inuyama. But something about the logic didn't sit right with Nanako. But if Sayuri's revenge was already complete, then there's no reason for her to go after other men. Nanako continued to search for more cases of the cursed woman's murders. And sure enough, she dug up an even crazier story. The story goes, there was this shared apartment where 5 dream chasers lived together, 2 guys and 3 girls. One was a live streamer and social media influencer named Xiaodan. Another is a hairdressing apprentice named Yui. Another is Natsu, a music trainee. As for the other 2 guys, Kenta wants to be a writer. And Akito, who wants to be an actor. After the 5 of them had a pleasant time together for a while, Akito and Yui started dating. Then one day, the news reported that a body had been discovered at an art museum on a university campus. The eyes had mysteriously vanished. The cause of death was bizarre. With a grin, Mingren speared a cherry tomato. And pops it in his mouth, biting down until it bursts with juice. Little did he know, this was a death wish. Immediately caught the attention of the cursed girl. So, about these 3 girls. I've always had a thing for short-haired girls, especially Xiaodan. Turns out, Kenta was also into Xiaodan, just like me. He finally worked up the courage to confess his feelings to Dan. But she shot him down right then and there, saying, I already have someone I like. Skinner to right. Ha! Meanwhile, the other 3 were in the bedroom watching a horror movie. Screaming their heads off in terror. Mingren gently stroked Xiaowei's hair. While complaining, what is this crap? What the heck is this supposed to be? It's not even as exciting as Xiao Xiao's commentary. The words were barely out of his mouth. He froze on the spot. Wait, hold on a second. Xiao Wei passed out on the carpet. Then who was I just touching? So, if he was just touching an invisible wall, then whose hair is this on my hand? Do ghosts have to worry about hair loss? And speaking of hair loss, don't you guys worry. Uncle Xia has always only fought his fans. And I absolutely don't do ads. As night fell, after Yui fell asleep, Akuro knocked on Azusa's door. In that moment, hiding in the shadows, Kenta felt like a complete clown. When it was over, Akito got up. He went back to his room. And what he saw was a blinding sight. The walls, the floor, the entire bed, all scrawled over with messy love letters. Just 3 words. I love you. Plus, there was something pushing against me from behind. How would Mingren dare to look back? What's going on here? Xiao Wei called all her roommates into the living room. With a haughty and arrogant look on her face. So what you're saying is, I'm the one and only official girlfriend. Who dares to steal my man? Just as she was confronting Xiao Dan, Xia couldn't take it anymore. Haruka, was it you? Yes, I did it. Akito-kun and I did it. I did it. Meanwhile, the four of them were in the middle of a catfight. But the one who was truly reeling at this moment was Kenta. Bro. There are only 3 girls in this room. Hey, eating all by yourself? So, it's pretty easy to guess what happens next. The cursed girl drops down from the ceiling. And begins to confess her love to Akito. I just don't get it, you know? I just want to ask you guys. Akito looks just like Vic Tabak. What's so great about him anyway? Why is it even licking the ghost? Covered in drool from all the licking, Mingren cried out, begging everyone for help. But unfortunately, no one was willing to pay him any mind. The good news is, Akito survived. The good news is, Akito's life was spared. She saw with her own eyes as Akito went completely insane. This only deepened the confusion in Nanako's heart. So why did the Calamity Girl go easy on him this time? Alright everyone, hold on a second. But when it comes to crazy, nobody's crazier than Nanako. She was in front of Hiroshi's memorial altar. She got into a fight with Mochizuki over the question of who truly loved him. After a round of slaps was exchanged, Nanako cradled the memorial portrait in her arms, declaring her sovereignty. In this round, Nanako felt like she'd won big time. She went back to her room. Before countless statues of Ahong, she rolled on the floor, screaming her lungs out. Ah! I'm so much cuter than her. All the things Hiroshi loves. I hate them, hate them, hate them. Man, it turns out Nanako was the real monster all along. This girl's got a seriously twisted idea of love. Since she couldn't have Ahong, she used the sculpture as a replacement. So, that day at the art gallery. So she ran up to Ahong to confess her feelings. This left Ahong completely baffled. Excuse me, who are you? Enraged, Nanako went on a full-on rampage. And just how filthy was her language? Let me put it this way. The lines are so uncensored. My video would get demonetized for this. Her brain must be completely stuffed with porn tapes or something. So, how can I love you even more? Stop talking like a normal person. This thing. From that day on, Nanako became a total stalker. She snuck into Ahong's house. She even brushed her teeth with Ahong's toothbrush, writing on the bathroom mirror. Then, she opens up a pack of sanitary pads. She even boiled her own hair in a pot. I like you, I really, really like you. Ichi, and I, San, sure, go, Roku, Shurchi. So, it was her hiding under Ahong's bed. And she's also the one who smashed the Mochizuki statue. And him. I gotta say. When it comes to being twisted, the Japanese are in a league of their own. They're still way ahead of the curve. You just gotta hand it to them. Ah. She added some hair, and then sealed it all up. But as for what this pot is for, well, we'll keep you in suspense for now. Meanwhile, back at home, Nanako was crafting a piece of art. A giant portrait of Ahong. And she even shaped the mouth to look like a chrysanthemum. Nanako then transforms into a slug-like creature, going in and out of Ahong's mouth. Now, with my humble 10 years of experience in horror commentary, I really can't wrap my head around what Nanako is doing. If anyone watching this can relate, and have played this game before, feel free to leave a comment down below. The second case involving the Huahua girl involved a family of 3. The couple brought in a master to perform an exorcism. After hearing their description, he concluded that the husband was haunted by the Huahua girl. The problem is, the Huahua girl is incredibly powerful. It would take at least 7 people to deal with her. The master said. The master told me to go find some help, then he left behind a bottle of shochu and was gone. The liquor is called Omiki. The name sounds pretty intimidating. But honestly, it's no different from the stuff you get at a Japanese restaurant. The husband thought the master was just a fraud. 7 people? What are you talking about? Does he think he's practicing some kind of secret sword technique? And sure enough, the next day came. The sacred sake had turned into a blob of sesame paste. The husband, who was usually so gentle, suddenly had a complete personality meltdown. And started lashing out at his wife, Yumeko Akunsi. The husband grabs the miso soup and dumps it all over the table. He ruined all dozen or so side dishes she'd prepared. So you can't cook, huh? Fine. Don't bother doing it again. Faced with her husband, who had just turned into a one-man cleanup crew, Kunsi didn't dare to talk back either. And she definitely wouldn't dare to complain about the director forgetting to remove the prop glue. After a day that passed without incident. At night, the Huahua girl came to pull at the covers. Her husband was sound asleep. He looked down again. But instead, she was wrapped in the Hohu girl's pink dress. He remembered that the sacred sake could ward off evil spirits. But the cup was completely empty. But then, Nanakeo gave a wicked smile. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words. Since you're not satisfied with the meal I cooked for you, then get the hell out of my sight. Kunzi sealed the door shut. She just let her husband get all tangled up with the cursed girl. Suddenly, a hand shot out from behind the sofa. This left her husband completely baffled. Wait, what? There are two ghosts in the house? Turns out, the hand belonged to Nanako. She'd heard that this family was being targeted by the Calamity Woman. So she snuck into the living room on purpose. She's going to blow the cursed girl to bits with a pot of explosives. And avenge Ahong. The Calamity Girl sent Nanako flying with a single slap. Get out of my way. As for the poor husband, he fled to the far end of the bedroom. And was dragged into an unknown abyss by the Huahua girl. Ever since that night, Kunzi no longer had to put up with her picky husband. But Kunzi's happiness lasted less than a day. She noticed something was wrong with her son, Yang Yang. Yang Yang was waving his hand at thin air. He even drew a picture of the Huahua girl in his notebook. It seems the Huahua girl isn't just into men, she likes children too. Such a considerate ghost, isn't she? I want to play with her. I want to play with the misfortune girl. No, you can't. That's a truly terrifying evil spirit. Just then, the master pulled up in his fancy Mercedes, having just rounded up his crew. Although they didn't manage to get 7 people together. But at least he brought back 2 assistants. The master then ordered Kunzi to place Yang Yang on the tatami mat. Then, chanting an incantation, she began the exorcism. At first, there was no reaction. As the music gradually builds to a climax, Yang Yang's body contorted and twisted more and more grotesquely. The ritual was reaching its climax. The master stepped into the courtyard. Then, a furious roar was heard. Yang Yang stopped squirming. Kunzi asked eagerly, her heart full of anticipation. Did it work? Blood and tears streamed from the master's eyes. And uttered the name. Sayuri. Yoshida. Eureka. Yoshida. Eureka. And then, her head flew 40 meters. The master became the commander. Dead as a doornail. To protect Yang Yang, Kunzi decided to do something drastic. Before she left, she made sure to give Yang Yang a special warning. Whatever you do, don't play with the Huahua girl. Carrying a bouquet of fresh flowers, Kunzi found the house number in a small alley. This was Sayuri's home. The person who opened the door, one look at her face, and you could tell it was Sayuri's mother, the old Sayuri. Lao Baiha invited Kunzi in for some tea. Kaneko lies, claiming her husband used to be a classmate of Sayuri's. I'm sorry to just show up like this, but I wanted to pay my respects. To pay my respects to Sayuri. Hi. I'm back. Welcome back. Lily, we have a guest. I'm good. Thank you. What a mix-up. Turns out, Sayuri never even died. She jumped from the 3rd floor and landed in the bushes. But the rumors just kept spreading among the students. The rumor was that after she died, she became the Calamity Girl. In reality, she was just at home recovering from her injuries. She just never went back to school, that's all. But then, Sayuri remembered something. Even after everything she'd been through, she still couldn't let him go. Then I'll just have to beat it out of you. Sayuri heard about a sacred tree on a nearby mountain, a tree that was said to be very powerful. I heard there's a sacred tree on a nearby mountain that's said to be very powerful. All you have to do is nail your love letter to the trunk of the tree with a sickle. And it would sever any toxic ties. It's even more effective than a love potion. But for some reason, after that, many people started to imitate Sayuri, treating the sacred tree like a wishing well. It was covered with thousands of paper notes. It had become a veritable 1,000-note tree. Nanako decided to investigate in person. She discovered that, just as she suspected, they were all wishes from heartbroken lovers. Getting a closer look. And on one of them, to her shock, was her husband's name. No wonder I blacked out the other day. And her husband's death was just as mysterious. So it seems he was really cursed. While Kaneko was dismantling a sickle on the mountain, Nanakeo slipped into the house and forcibly took Yang Yang away. Hey, don't get the wrong idea, everyone. Nanako is using Yo-Yo as bait. And wait for the cursed girl to fall right into the trap. And now, for the main event. Step 1, pour the sacred sake into the humidifier. To force the cursed girl to show herself. Step 2, turn on the power. Ugh, ugh. Final attack, pressure cooker bomb, Hiroshi's death. Step 2, pressure cooker explodes. Under the influence of the sacred sake, the Huahua girl appeared. The Huahua woman has appeared. She kept muttering, I love you. Crawling step by step towards Yang Yan's location. Nanako, who had been watching coldly from the sidelines, was deeply shaken. A few months ago, Nanako happened to see Ahong. One day, Nanako happened to see Ahong. I don't know what came over her. And just like that, she fell for Ahong, the one who smoked. She ran up to him and confessed her love, totally freaking Ahong out. She scared the hell out of Ahong. You're terrifying. So, who the hell are you, anyway? Thinking back on it now, I realized I was just as twisted as the cursed girl all along. I like you. I really, really like you. At almost the exact same time, Kunzi destroyed the sacred tree. Finally, she saw the note from Yang Yang. Who the hell is playing matchmaker here? Just before the cursed girl could open her mouth and devour Yin Yang, with all her might, Kunzi yanked the scythe out. The curse was broken. The sickle was like a tire valve. With a whoosh, the Huahua girl deflated. It collapsed onto the ground, becoming nothing more than a piece of painted skin. Is it all over? But Nanako didn't think so. She planned to go to the mountain and blow up the sacred tree. But she ran into someone she didn't expect. This person was actually disguised as an NPC. In reality, the mastermind behind all this, Inuyama, was also the one who bullied Sayuri. He even publicly humiliated Inuyama. With his face kicked to a pulp, Inuyama hid in the shadows, secretly wiping away his tears. Just then, he saw Sayuri coming to make a wish. And just like that, Inuyama learned how to perform the scythe nailing curse. And just like that, Inuyama learned the curse of the scythe. When Takuya bit the dust, it was the very grass he planted himself. But with his revenge complete, Inuyama only grew more and more twisted. Starved for affection, he grew to despise any public display of love. While working part-time at a coffee shop, whenever Inuyama spotted a couple, he'd pretend to be serving them. And eavesdropped to catch the man's name. I'm the one who likes Yui, right? This is so annoying. Hey, what did you say? He didn't even spare Kunzi and her family of 3. He even saw Yang Yang with a little girl. Inuyama was driven mad with jealousy. I'm sure you've all seen my breakdown of the Song of the Heretic, right? The best way to deal with a pervert is to send him to hell. In the Song of the Heretic, Nanakeo failed to kill Inuyama. I can't let this opportunity slip away, not this time. With that thought, she threw the pressure cooker. She threw the pressure cooker. The pressure cooker did not disappoint. With a deafening crash, sides filled the air. Eyeballs rained down all around. Inuyama took the fatal blow. And vanished into dust along with the sacred tree. And that's where the latest Japanese horror film, The Curse of the Jinx, comes to a sudden end. Now, I'm sure some of you are probably thinking this movie is just plain weird. Personally, I think the director's thought process is just out there. What seems absurd is actually meticulously logical. It has this atmosphere that will make your hair stand on end. And it also has some ridiculously funny, surreal moments. Especially the leading lady, Sarah Minami. This Gen Z actress didn't really get to show her full range in The Song of the Heretic. In The Song of the Outsider, she didn't really get to show her full potential. But in The Cursed Girl, she finally got to show off her acting chops. Seriously, guys. I'm really into this one. Ah. Hiroshi. I love you so much, Ahong. I really like you. And if you like me back. And please, smash that like button. Share this, and if you're new here, don't forget to hit that follow button. Making horror film recaps is no easy task. Your support is the only thing that keeps us going here at Xiaoxia. Next time, the grand finale of The Song of the Outcast. Don't miss it. I'm the only one who can do something like this, right? Someone like him.